So something about me, if an opportunity arises for me to talk about Lord of the Rings, I will take that opportunity. So I'm going to dive into my favorite scene in the Return of the King Extended Edition, Aragorn vs. the Mouth of Sauron. Did you see this extended edition? What did you think? Welcome to Durbania. I'm Durbin, and this is my theological analysis slash scene dissection of one of my favorite scenes in the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy, and it wasn't even in the theatrical cut. So if you haven't seen the extended editions, treat yourself.
Treat yourself. It's the best day of the year.
The best day of the year! And go check out those extended editions. They are just incredible, and they add so much. And this scene of Aragorn versus the Mouth of Sauron, to me, it adds so much power to the war that just follows it. It's amazing. And what got me thinking about Lord of the Rings again, my mom and sister came out recently for my birthday, so my wife and my mom, they kind of got together and came up with these awesome gifts for me. So are you ready for this? Are you ready? Funko Pops. This is my Frodo Funko Pop. Aragorn, and I like it. He's the ranger, not the king. I mean, he's cool as the king, but I love the ranger version. Why does he cry, Smeagol? My Gollum Funko Pop. I'm so excited, precious. I didn't know these things were that big. Treebeard. My Treebeard Funko Pop. Look how huge this is. Gosh. Anyway, so like, I'm just so excited. And all of that stuff just got me thinking about Lord of the Rings all over again. And whenever I think about the Lord of the Rings trilogy, first off, my mind always goes to those extended editions. But this scene was just so impactful to me. My mind always goes to Aragorn facing off the Mouth of Sauron. And the reason my mind goes there is because to me, this is the picture of what faith looks like. This is a picture of faith in action. An enemy trying to attack that faith and steal that faith. But what Aragorn does in the face of it is so absolutely inspiring to me. So to set up the scene, basically it's Aragorn realizing, well, Frodo and Sam are in Mordor. And so there's untold numbers of orc between them and Mount Doom. So we got to get Sauron's eye on us and get the orc drawn out to us so that they can get to Mount Doom and destroy the ring. So that's what they decide they have to do. This whole plan is based on faith. Faith that Frodo and Sam are still alive, even though they can't see Frodo and Sam, but it's faith that Frodo and Sam are still alive and still moving towards Mount Doom. So as they ride up to this gate and they call out Sauron,
"Let the Lord of the Black Land come forth! Let justice be done upon him!"
the gate opens and the Mouth of Sauron, this faceless thing with a giant mouth, comes out smiling.
My master, Sauron the Great, bids thee welcome.
Gosh, it's so disgusting. They should make a Funko Pop of that! But what's so interesting about this scene is you have Gandalf, Merry, Pippin, Legolas, Gimli, Aragorn. They're all showing up here in boldness. They're riding up in faith. And sometimes in life, we just build our faith and we, it feels strong, it feels solid, and it's awesome. And that's usually right when an enemy tries to creep in and destroy it. So the gate opens and the Mouth of Sauron comes out, and one of the first things he shows them is the Mithril shirt.
I have a token I was bidden to show thee.
It's interesting because he never says Frodo's name. He just shows the shirt. I have a token I was bidden to show thee. And then it's Merry and Pippin who freak out, Frodo! And they say his name. And Gandalf's like, be quiet! Be quiet! But it's too late.
The halfling was dear to thee, I see.
The Mouth of Sauron saw this. I don't know how, because he doesn't have eyes. Either way, he saw this and he realized he struck a chord. Oh, the halfling was dear to thee, I see. Ah, he's so weird. But the point of him showing the Mithril shirt was to show them evidence. It was in a sense to show them proof that their hope was dead. Seeing is believing. That was Frodo's Mithril shirt. And now the enemy has the shirt. The conclusion that could be made is at some point, Frodo was in the hands of the enemy. And they have the proof of it. They have no proof that Frodo escaped the enemy. They just, here he is, dangling the shirt though, to be, look at this. Solid evidence. Your hope is dead. What you were hoping for, what you were believing was gonna happen, it ain't gonna happen. Because look at this. Look at the evidence. And once he sees, that's kind of deflated them enough. he presses more.
Who would have thought one so small would endure so much pain? And he did, Gandalf. He did.
I mean, what is that? He's kicking him when he's down. He's trying to not just take the wind out of his sails and destroy his faith. Now he's trying to fill him up with guilt and shame to replace that. So instead of a dude standing there in faith and boldness, he's a guy now hunched over in guilt and shame of the position that he put this innocent halfling in. The enemy is pressing that advantage. He deflated them, and now he's trying to make them feel bad about it, and he's making them feel just like dirt. Why? Why is that the enemy's goal? Well, because it takes the fight out of them. They'll either just lay down and surrender, or they will be easily wiped out because there's no fight left in them to, do this major battle that's in front of them. If they could take out the leaders of this army like that, they could take out this army. That's the whole point of this. There's evidence that the enemy has Frodo. There's evidence that their hope is dead, and now they feel awful about it. Till Aragorn rides up and just kind of casually whips out a sword and cuts off the thing's head.
And who is this? Isildur's heir. It takes more to make a king than a broken elvish blade.
He cuts off the snake's head. He's not going to listen to what that thing has to say. He whips his horse around and he says to the party standing in front of him,
I do not believe it. I will not.
The verbiage there is incredibly important because it shows faith is a choice. In the face of the evidence that their hope was dead on the other side of that wall, Aragorn chose not to believe it. Now, that faith isn't blind because he knows some things. Thing number one that he knows, Sauron is the deceiver. I mean, that's literally a title in his name, Sauron the deceiver. So he knows his enemy. He knows if his enemy's mouth is moving, he's lying. Even if there's a little half-truth in there, it's still a lie. It's just enough of a truth to make the lie that much more impactful. So he knows his enemy. If his enemy is talking, then the enemy is lying, and he shouldn't believe what the enemy is saying. The other thing he knows is Frodo and Sam. He knows their personality. He knows the substance that they're made of. In other words, he knows the will, the iron will that they have. He knows about their faithfulness to each other, their faithfulness to this cause. He believes in them because he knows them. As long as at least one of them has breath, and they have each other, and as long as at least one of them has breath, they will make it to Mount Doom, and they will destroy that ring because they have the goodness in them, the will in them, and the fortitude in them to get that done. He knew their heart, and he knew their substance, and he knew they would get the job done. So he knew his enemy was a liar, and if the enemy's talking, then the enemy's lying, and he knew Frodo and Sam would never, ever give up. And so it wasn't really blind faith. It was based on things that he knew. He knew Frodo Sam could accomplish this thing. You know what's really interesting is that's the way it is in life. As I have faith in Christ, the enemy of my soul, the devil, tries to bring me evidence. Evidence that I can see that my faith is misplaced. And trying to present to me evidence of my weaknesses and evidence of my insecurities and all that, and bringing that to my attention to destroy my faith. That's what the enemy of our soul wants to do. Destroy our faith and then kick us when we're down and fill us with guilt and shame. But then I remember who God is. And I've experienced God in my life. I've seen miracles. Now, I've never physically seen Jesus, kind of like Aragorn can't physically see Frodo and Sam, but he knows they're just beyond the gate. And he knows they're moving towards the end goal of Mordor. So I can't see beyond this veil and see what's just over there. I can't see Jesus physically and what he's doing. But I know his promises to me. I know that it says that if God didn't even spare his own son for me, then what would he hold back for my good? I know his promise that he says he's got a hope and a future for me. And as I build my life and my foundation on his promises, that's something that's solid. There will always be an enemy of the soul to try to throw my weaknesses in my face, to throw my sins in my face. But then I have to remember the character of God, Jesus, his heart, his substance, who he really is. When he says it's forgiven, it's gone, further away than the east is from the west, period. So I don't have to walk and operate in guilt and shame. And it's interesting, we can't see beyond that veil, like Aragorn couldn't see over that gate and see where Frodo and Sam were, but he knew their hearts and he knew who they were, so he knew they would make it. And they did, and they defeated Sauron. Jesus already defeated our enemy 2,000 years ago. So all I have to do is continue to stand on his promises and know that the enemy will always try to strike at that. Will always try to weaken that foundation. Will always try to remind me of my wrong. So when he tries to remind me of my wrong, I look at him and remind him, well, you're going to go to hell forever one day. So there you have it.
Guess that concludes negotiations.
So what do you think? When you watch Return of the King, what do you get out of this movie? Have you seen the extended edition? What do you think of Aragorn versus the Mouth of Sauron? Let me know in the comments, and while you're there, hit the subscribe button to become a Durbanian. Hit the bell by the subscribe button so you're notified the next time I do a theological analysis, movie review, ranking video, or anything else I do here. I'm Durbin. Thanks for checking out Durbania.